This is Jason Alon from Fever 333, and myself and the band are extremely excited, elated, and just hyped to be coming to Good Things Fest over there in Australia. Can't wait.
Beautiful, Jason. Thanks for joining us from your throne this morning.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Right. So, as you mentioned, Fever 333 will be coming to Australia this December as part of the Good Things Festival lineup. So, it's been a while since the band has been here, mate. So, what are you expecting from us this time around?
You know, I was saying earlier on some other interview, I'm just saying I'm expecting people to really allow themselves to explode from the all the compounded, waiting and eagerness and excitement and anxiety that we've been feeling over these years, waiting for, festival seasons to return, or live performance, or just like being able to connect with people on this level, whether it be, like the setting of a festival or just like rhythmically, sonically, whatever. So I do expect it to be ultimately like one of the, I don't know, and it's going to be different, right? Everything's going to be different now, but I suspect that it'll be different in a good way. I think we'll be a lot more grateful.
Yeah. And the lineup is massive, including yourself, Bring Me the Horizon, there's Deftones, NOFX, TISM, Gojira, Jinjer, Soulfly, Sabaton, the list goes on, man. But who are you most looking forward to playing with and why?
I'm friends with, we're buddies with Bring Me the Horizon and Deftones. And I believe Nova Twins are also playing. They're like one of my favorite bands as well. And then, honestly, I am just such a big NOFX fan. I think that's going to be, and they're playing Punk In Drublic, right? Like that's
in full, yeah.
Dude, that's like one of the first, it's not one of the first NOFX albums I heard, but it's the first NOFX album that I bought. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, cool. And the festival's got a diverse lineup, mate. Like it's got everything from metalcore to punk to electronic to hardcore to all sort of music, but it's all together under one banner, mate. So how important is it to have those choices at a show like this, do you reckon, for the public?
I think it's the most important thing that any promoter can do at this point, to be completely honest. I think that creating a hybridized or a melange, a cornucopia of just good music is so important, especially now that we come into what I'm observing with the new generation of, music listeners and consumers, where they really don't, they're not as, hard up about sticking to one genre. I think that that's just so amazing. And also, like anything culturally, is experiencing more than one culture, experiencing more than one genre, experiencing more than, one approach to art. I think is just good for not only like the individual, but good for a culture at large. I think it's just so important.
Yeah, damn straight. At Fever 333 are well known for your energetic live shows, mate. So how much time and work goes into what we actually see on stage?
I think all the stuff, like all the spontaneity, that is literally just years of, I don't know, of loving punk rock and hip hop and skateboarding and a little bit of fucking theater. And, like that's all just sort of as organic as we can try to be. But as of recent, or when we get down there, I believe that we will have things, a little more production, a little more of an experiential event that we're providing. But to be honest, I don't know yet because I haven't started. So everything that people have seen thus far is just truly from just growing up, enjoying, energetic performance and, somewhat artistically leaning, alternatively leaning performance. And that's kind of it, really.
Yeah. What's the worst injury you've got, mate, from all that climbing and jumping and going into the crowds and all the crazy shit you do?
You know what, man, to be completely honest with you, the worst injury I had was like one of the smallest shows I played. I ended up severing my median nerve and my flexor tendon in my arm. I had a piece of glass go through the bottom of my arm and out the top, and it just stuff in my arm. But it was like, it wasn't like, it was just a little show in Lubbock, Texas, and I was just in a weird mood, and I put my hand through some glass, and the glass won that battle, really.
As they do.
Yeah.
And your bio starts off by saying, Rebellion needs a soundtrack. It's got a whole lot more with Fever 333. Can you elaborate on that for us, man? It's a great quote.
Yeah, they did pretty good with that. I mean, for me, for me, I just want to be an accomplice to change, an advocate for change. I want to run concurrently alongside it, but by no means are we the face, or are we the necessarily the change itself. We are very much a part of the change we want to see. But I believe that rebellion and that change, all of that is so much bigger than one band. I believe it's the people. I believe it's the ideas. I believe it's the collective consciousness that we comprise and then aggregate of those things to create something bigger. So I mean, we're just trying, like, literally, like, take that quote and like take it quite literally. We're trying to create a soundtrack to something bigger with the people and with these ideas and with the essence. But by no means is that saying that we are the revolution. I think the revolution is
Fever 334 back in 2017, mate. So they haven't been a band for that long, but what was the musical climate like that gave birth to the band, and where did you fit in back then?
For me, it was really like late 90s, early 2000s, like rap music. And then like early 90s gangster rap, and punk rock. Really, like, those are the things to me that are just the most urgent and the most sort of confronting, like the most, I would say, constructively confronting types of music. And then really, it was more so the sort of socio-political climate that spawned this project. If I'm being super honest, everything from, again, like policy, to everything we were experiencing in sort of directly publicized politics, not only in America, but most of the Western world. There was kind of an answer to a lot of those things that I was experiencing around myself. But sonically, I'd say, yeah, just like gangster rap and punk rock music. To like distill that answer.
Yeah. And your first public appearance was at an unpermitted demonstration in front of a North Central LA landmark, mate. So tell us about that and how it announced the arrival of Fever 333.
Yeah, so that was at Randy's Donuts, a place that I like grew up going to, on Sundays with my dad and shit. And it was because in my area, because that's where I'm from over there. I'm from Inglewood, and for me to watch a place that I grew up in that was placed in not the most positive light, to see that place become victim of gentrification, to become corporatized, to become a place where people are being removed, like natives of Inglewood that were placed there intentionally in order to create a low-income area, then being now moved out to create an area that is no longer low income.
Wow.
We call this, they call it gentrification. We call it land grab. I think that for me, it was to have our first demonstration, to our first appearance in that spot. It was just the most authentic way I could offer some sort of knowledge about the place that made me, and a place that I believe I needed some acknowledgement and help at the time. And I believe, and I always tell people, if you want to see change, you have to start as locally as possible. The most local change you can see is within yourself. And then I'd say the second most local would be right outside your door, in your neighborhoods and your communities and your cities. So that was the reason, I chose to have our first demo over there at that donut shop.
Yeah, cool. And the band has performed at and been involved with many demonstrations since, mate. Like, do any of them stand out to you as majorly significant?
Yeah, I think that, I think most of the time, the first time when we go into any other country, it's always just such a wonderfully overwhelming surprise that people connect with this music, because my intentions when I was writing were to make sure that it extends beyond just American policy or American situation, but to see people actually finding their space in it outside of where we're from, connecting with it, and finding the connection between the struggles or the desires that they seek in their environment, finding a way to connect that to something that, you know, to a lot of people seems quite centrally American, is just always incredible. You know, anything from like Japan to Russia to Australia, you know, to South America. It's just, I don't know, man. But if I may speak on the most recent one, we played at Rock am Ring recently in Germany, and I swear I felt the shift. Like I felt something change at that demo. Like the amount of people that were there that knew us, but also that didn't know us, that just kind of heard or felt that there was somewhere they should be. The amount of people participating that did know us, but also those that didn't know us, just feeling so like compelled to be engaged in what was happening on that stage. I will go out on record and say there was a shift that happened at that show recently.
Wow, that'd be a magic feeling, bro. Like just feeling that.
Absolutely, it was.
Yeah. So what is the you got aside from good things over here, mate? What does the next 12 months hold for the band?
We got some. We're doing a bunch of, you know, Europe festivals and UK festivals this summer. We'll do some dotted like festival appearances throughout the rest of the year, and I'll really just be finishing and finalizing the next Fever full-length album, as well as, you know, everything from the essence, the iteration, the new version, how people experience it, how people listen to it, how people you know, watch Fever. I'm just working on basically the new version of Fever 333 for the next, you know, I guess 6 months.
You're a busy boy, mate.
Trying to be, yeah, trying.
Hell yeah, man. Well, it's a pleasure speaking today, Jason. Thanks. I was going to say getting out of bed, but you're not. But thanks for talking to us when you're sick.
No problem, brother.
I'll catch you for a beer over here in December, my friend.
Sounds good, brother. I'll be there.